Hey y'all, welcome to my, well, I don't know why I'm welcoming you to this exciting video. Oh shoot, this is like not working. My microphone is all floppy. I have been so excited about sharing this video with you because it's something I've been super duper excited about myself, and obviously it's exciting to share things that are exciting. I had watched this video from Jean Oliver, and it's basically was an exercise with charcoals. She didn't really label it anything other than portrait charcoals type thing. That style is really expressionistic, and I actually put the definition of expressionism on my Instagram, and I want to read it again for you. Expressionism, an artistic style that departs from the conventions of realism, holla, and naturalism, and seeks to convey inner experience by distorting rather than directly representing natural images. I love what it says. Now, you can get really crazy. And when I say crazy, I don't mean in a negative way, just really deep into expressionism where people literally will have like eyeballs on an arm or things like that. That's definitely not real. I tend to stay a little more on the realistic-ish spectrum of expressionism, but it's definitely not realism. It's definitely more abstract and expressionistic in nature. And I started with these Imbibe series little portraits, and I've sold a lot of them. I think this might be one of the last ones left. I'm not sure. But I started with these, and I had this really spiritual experience. It's in another post, but this one has a little bit of collage and the word imbibe that I wrote with my typewriter right there. I really hope YouTube doesn't pick up my record because I really like listening to music, and the last time I had music on when I did a video, it flagged it, so I could never monetize it. So I was like, dang it. I don't know if it'll pick up my record or not. I turned it down just in case. It's the Inception soundtrack, so it's like not the great. It's just like this really intense music. I started with that, and then I did this one last, and this one is called Spilled Milk, and I'll tell you why. I used my son's photo as a reference, and with this photo that I took of him a long time ago, he had just spilled some milk, and he was really sad about it. Like he thought he was gonna get in trouble or something, or he was just sad that he spilled his milk. I'm not even sure, but the look on his face is just like, it's one of my favorite photos. I don't know what is up with his face, but I just love it so much. It makes my heart melt. And so I used that as a reference, and I did this portrait. And so this one's extremely special to me. So I can't part with the original yet, but I am getting giclées of this one, and they should be in, like, I'm ordering a ton of giclées like soon. I'll have the owl one, this one. I'll have, let's see, what else do I have? I have a bunch of other things too. And then I went to the prayer room, and then I did this huge one and these little ones, and I worked in multiples again. I'm going to show you how that really frees up your mind to not overthink stuff. I really like this one. I don't know what it is about this one, but I really like this one. And this one has nothing, there's a little bit of watercolor stuff happening here, but I didn't do much with the background. This one, there's another technique that I'll show you that I use for the background with collage. And this one just has pretty much collage. This one's just the sketch and a little bit of pastels and stuff. And then this one has, let's see if I can back up. No, that's as wide as it goes. I have to kind of bend it, but this one is huge. This is an 11 by 14, and I started off with some watercolors, and this is sealed, so it's not gonna move. It's definitely not moving anymore. See, if I do that, there's like nothing on my hands. But if that were not sealed, then it'd be like black everywhere. And you can even see, like, I'm learning, like, oh, I have to be very careful when I work with these chunky charcoals. But anyway, I did watercolor on this one before I started the sketch and drawing or whatever. And then I added a little bit more later. But for the most part, I did a bunch of watercolor, just some very light washes of watercolor, which I love doing that before drawing. I like having something on the background. Anyway, I just want to show you some of the ones that I've done. Oh goodness. Okay, that one's big. Oh my gosh. I kind of want to just put her on the wall too and just take her off Etsy because I don't know. I really like it. I really like it. But I just wanted to show you some of the ones that I had worked on, and I'm going to show you a lot of techniques here, and I'm going to try to go through this quickly because I know that my videos usually are a little longer, and I don't, this seriously could be like a class. Let me know if you think, sorry, I have a cough drop in my mouth too, but let me know if you think this would be a good class because I don't know what's out there. I've only seen one little freebie video from Jean, and she was just really showing what she was doing. She wasn't explaining anything. So I really want to go into like the different types of tools that you can use, like graphite versus charcoal, and the different pastels that are available, and exercises to get to know your tools and things like that. And so I'm going to quickly touch on some of that in this video, but I seriously could expound so much more, and it could be like a class, like legit. So let me talk about tools then. This is my, let me go out here a little more. You're going to see my belly. I'll do it this way. That way you don't have to see my crazy belly. Okay, so this is my little cash register drawer that I got on eBay, and I have a whole bunch of fun stuff in here. I got this idea from Wendy Brightbill to use a cash register drawer. It's just the coolest thing ever. My husband helped me get all the crazy mechanical stuff off it in the back, and I did keep one of these things. So I just had to. We still have the pieces in his little toolbox, but I just wanted one. Oh, my timer's going. I think I was supposed to, I think I cleared off my desk enough to work. I have a few different things in this fun little drawer. The first thing I'll talk about is these are like vine charcoals, and they're literally made from grapevines. You can get them from willow branches too. I'll show you what they look like. You can get them for a few bucks, and you can get them at different strengths. I got a hard, you can get them a little softer, but this is, let's see, it's hard to tell, but so again, this is a vine charcoal, and it's basically a crispy fried grapevine. And I'll show you on a piece of paper. If I did a class, I would actually have these things labeled, so, and pictures and all sorts of stuff. But so this is what a vine charcoal looks like on a piece of paper. See, it's very nice and hard, and I do keep them in this little bag or whatever. It's great for like doing finer lines, to have the finer lines. Again, this is the hard one. They do have softer ones and extra soft that can rub more. And then I'll show you how it rubs here on this one. Let's see. Okay. So there's how it kind of smears when you're messing with the smearing. Also, just to note that this charcoal has really, I don't know how to say this. It's helped me with my, like, sensitivity wise, for me to rub any sort of anything in between, to have something in between my finger and a piece of paper, seriously drives me up the wall. Just having this, doing this exercises of rubbing things it's been really hard for me, but I think it's been good. Okay, so you can have these little blocks. This is actually not charcoal. This is compressed graphite. They're a lot easier. So the difference between, I guess, charcoal and graphite is charcoal's way messier, and graphite is a little, like, I think there's something different with their makeup, the makeup of them. I believe that the graphite has smaller particles or something. I could be wrong. I need to research it a little more before doing any sort of class, but these come in different strengths too. So I got this little pack of generals, and there's 2B, 4B, 6B. Again, these are referring to the softness or hardness of your graphite or charcoal. So I think this one is like, this one's 6B to show you. This is 6B. And notice how there's nothing flaking off, whereas with charcoal, there was little pieces kind of flaking off. So there's that. That's 6B. This one must be a harder one. No, it doesn't say which ones these are. And then here's how they smear. Okay. And then, so I like using those too, just to change things up. And then these little chunky things are so messy. It is unreal, but I love them because they force you to be loose. This one's actually the color sepia. They were out of the black one, but look how chunky this thing is. The little chunk, I mean, and it's messy. It's so messy. So let me show you what this does. See that thick, bold line? And then there's that. And I'm going to do another line so I can show you what it does with water. I even bought like a big flat brush just to help get stuff away. So that's the sepia color. I do keep them in these boxes because they are a little messy. This is this ochre color that I just love, love, love. I want so bad to get a black one because they were out. Again, they were out of black. And this one is this beautiful purple. Is a violet color. And it's so dark, but you can't tell. But here, this one's like a purple color. Let me kind of take half of this one and show you. There's that, and then I think that's clean. I'm gonna have to do that purple again. But you can kind of see that. And these ones are pretty soft. I mean, I didn't really get that violet one here. There you go. Oh my goodness. And honestly, because this is driving me crazy, I love the baby wipes. So I use baby wipes a lot when I'm doing this kind of stuff because it just makes me feel better. So baby wipes make it a nice and easy cleanup when you see, oh, better. And just making sure that they're dry, hands are dry before working again with the the stuff. Okay, so that's your charcoals and graphites or whatever for the actual sketches. Then I also use pastels. Now, a note on this, the new pastels from Prisma, they are great, activated with water or whatever. These little handmade ones, which I got from my Herwick's, which is a local craft store, they actually resist water. So just to show you, you can also use these to kind of sketch, but so here's this pastel. I'll do a colored one. And then I'm sorry, that's a neutral. And then I'll do a colored one so you can see. And then I'll do this minty one. This is like Neptune green or something. So here's that neutral one. It's a pastel. This is the turquoise pastel. And this is that Neptune green. So I'm going to show you what all these do water activated also. And then the other thing that I do use sometimes as well is the Derwent ink tense blocks. They are super rich and pigmented for cheeks especially. I'll use this one, which I honestly have no clue which color this is. It says 0520, I think. I'm not sure, but they really don't smear like crazy, but they activate with water like crazy. When you're done with your sketching and stuff, and I'm going to actually go over the face, like a general face, what it looks like and how you can smear things. Really, you can do all the smudgy stuff and then go in like with your cheeks later and stuff. Here's just a little cheapo brush. And here is the vine activated with water. The smudgy one. Okay. The graphite activated with water. They're not really moving super much. That softer one is. Here's the charcoal activated with water. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Charcoal definitely, it seems like it activates more than the graphite. And that might be, again, because of that makeup. Look at that pretty purple. Now, this paper has like, it's cheaper watercolor paper, this one is, and I might actually have matte medium on it. I have no clue, but that's why it looks like it's beating up right there. It's not because it's resisting. And then as far as the pastels, here is the handmade pastel. That one seems to be fine. Some of these don't really do very well with water. And the new pastels do beautifully. There's that. And then this is the ink tense block. Not pretty. So those are some things that as you're drawing, consider how they behave with water so that after you're done with your sketch, you can play around with adding water in different areas. So that's that. And then as far as your background, there's some different techniques that you can do. Again, I can show you the collage, but there's something that I also really enjoy doing. I kind of just experimented with this myself. No one told me to do this, but I'll show it to you. And then after that, show you the different backdrops. I will show you kind of the diagram of a face, and then we'll start with some sketching. I'm going to start off with the little thing that I've been enjoyed doing, and then I'm going to add collage on top because that's what I did with the spilled milk, and I really like how it turned out. This is just matte medium Liquitex version, and it's like coming apart. I have a tiny bit left, and I've already bought another bottle with a coupon because I use this stuff so much. This is going to be in my empties video, which I'm kind of compiling a list of my favorite stuff that I've kind of used up to do like an empties video. So what I do is I just take a good bit of matte medium. This is the thing that I was doing the other day, and I loved it so much. I actually took some fluid acrylic. You could use regular acrylic. You could use high flow acrylics. You really could use anything, but this is matte medium, and I just did a little tiny dab of fluid acrylic to make it like a glaze. And this is my collage brush that's kind of crusty, but just made it super transparent so that when I put a little matte medium on, I see you can barely see it, especially with that color. And then take a bunch of different pieces of paper. Okay. So if you're working with me, I have here like a 5x7, a 4x6, a 5x5, and a 3x5. I'm sorry, not 3x5, 3x4. And so I'm just taking and just putting a little bit of, just slapping it on, not thinking about it, just getting stuff on the paper. And then if you want, you can go in and see, this is phthalo turquoise. I just sprayed myself. Whoops. I want working on multiple pieces of paper will do. It will force you to not think too much about any one piece. If you force yourself to just go back and forth with it, I don't know how my brain is this way. Maybe your brain's not this way, but I can hyper focus on one thing, and it makes me think too much about just any one certain thing. So I found that when I was working on several pieces at the same time, that it helped me because I want to be as free as I can. Working on stuff. Sorry, it's hard. Like, I have to turn my brain off. This now is got the blue in it, but I want to have these dry and put little collage bits on top. So I'm going to wash this off, and I'll be right back. Can't tell you how gratifying it is when you pull off like a nice little skin off your plate. It's like peeling off a sunburn, you know. Nice big layer of sunburn. I know that's probably gross for a lot of you, but that's okay. I'm weird. And you're welcome to use the colored matte medium if you want, the glaze, whatever you want to call it, with your collage as well. I just like using it kind of like a transparent paint. So I'm just going to rip off some of the pieces here and use just clear matte medium. Okay, so gonna kind of, again, not thinking too hard about placement because it's just really cool to see how each of them turn out when you just let them do their thing, kind of thing. Just what is it asking you to do? Just quickly. This is just some tissue that I got off, I think I came in an Etsy order or something. All right. have some colored pieces too. Now you have to be careful because if you layer, you know, sometimes when you layer tissues over colors that would make mud, sometimes they make mud also. So you have to be aware of that. If you don't care, like I really don't care, then have fun. Just tissue paper away. I'm just doing some tissue paper on here. Let's do some, I have one that's like a pretty purple color. I want to do a really cool piece. This one I'm kind of thinking about, where it's a bust and you have the portrait and then you have the kind of the bust of the person all in different sorts of textures, like tissue paper, kind of like the ballerina that I did when her ballad tutu dress was like tons of tissue and even some fibers were in there. It was really cool. Now this purple is going to kind of give it darker. It's going to be darker, so not much is going to show on that. So maybe I'll do a little tinier piece here. You have a little bit of time to play with this stuff. Okay, so as this is drying, I'm going to show y'all how we're going to go about with the actual face. Again, it's not realism. You could do an eyeball way wonky out to the side, and it's okay because it's expressionism. I do tend to stay a little closer, like I said, to the proportions of a face. So I'm just going to show you and you'll be so surprised. And you'll actually might be able to do your realism stuff better after loosening up with this. You know what I mean? I might need to use up that for something else. I don't want to waste it. So here is your face, okay? Just draw like that. You've probably seen this in several different places. Your eyes would be about here. Half between here and here would be the base of your nose. Half between here and here would be about your mouth, right? So that's kind of like your facial proportions. So when we do our sketches, I literally want you to just do a little and then start rubbing. Do this and start rubbing. Do this and start rubbing. Do this and start rubbing. Don't even worry about the nitty gritties of it because we'll add on later. You know, we can do the face shape if you want, and you can add hair if you want or whatever, but basically that is your proportions. It's an egg. You could, now when you do the more of a round, you get more of a kid type, you know, or creatures, as Courtney will do, creatures with circular faces. I tend to do more of a long face. I say that it's because I have a long face. I have a very pointy chin and whatever. So when we go, you can do it how you want, but I do more of an oval shape. And then of course they have eyebrows and whatever. So, and you can do eyebrows. This is where you can get crazy if you want your eyebrows to be way up here or whatever. But for the most part, this is the way that you're going to be doing your proportions, and with the cross, half and half. And if you want, I even love it when I see parts of the foundation of the sketch still in the final thing. I love that. I love seeing all these hashes and stuff. So we can even do that on our pieces. Just getting used to, if you want to take a piece of paper and draw an oval, draw a cross halfway from that point and the base, another line halfway from that and the base, another line, scribble in 2 lines, scribble in 2 lines, scribble in a line, and that is going to be the foundation. And then from there we'll start adding some, that's where you can get exciting and fun. You can do really round eyes around your smudges. You can do more oval eyes around your smudges. You can do a really large nose if you want. You can do a smaller nose. You don't even have to really do a line for a nose. You can make it just like a line for, you know, instead of lips. I have a way that I like to do lips. My lips, I do like, I tell people I do a seagull with another seagull and a line. That's like my lips. And depending on how far down you, if you curve it down or curve it up, it's where they're going to be kind of pouty or more smiling. So this is more of a pout kind of a look. And if I did more of a smirky kind of a look, I would do my seagull more up with the wings coming up. See the difference between more of a pouty and more of a kind of a smirk kind of a thing. These are things that you can like practice over and over. I've been kind of honing in on what I like my lips to look like, what I like my noses to look like. With a nose, I do like doing a circle as a help for it. And I do like having one of the lines coming up to an eyebrow to help me. So it really, though, the beauty of the expressionism is that the least you know about the details. I mean, if you get your proportions fine, you don't even have to have your proportions fine. You can do an eye up here if you want to. If you want to do it like I'm doing it, then I do kind of stay with the proportions and then I accentuate weird things with the actual details of it. So with that said, I'm going to heat set these pieces over here and we can get started. I forgot to hold one of these back and just do one with like plopping in the background, but y'all have seen so much plopping. It's literally, instead of this, plopping a little watercolor in the back. Just keeping that in mind that if you do use watercolor, be careful. Make sure everything is completely dry before you start rubbing, because it'll literally start rubbing up the fibers of the paper. I did that one time and it was not good. So just make sure everything is completely dry if you decide to do the watercolor for the background instead of the matte medium. I'm going to move this kind of to the side so I can show you. Oops, there goes my paints. Obviously I didn't clear off my desk good enough. Just to show you, it literally just fell on the floor again. I'm not even going to worry about it right now. To help with the hyperfocus issue of trying to focus too much on one thing, how you've got to just keep moving backwards and forwards and side to side and everything, just to keep yourself loose, to not overthink it. I'm going to do probably just a couple regular, face ones like this, and probably one with like a bust and then one really close up. So I'll try my best to give instruction. It's so hard when I'm actually doing it at the same time, but let's just try with this one right here with the egg shape. So we're going to do the egg shape. Don't overthink it. Do your crosses, okay? And then do a half and a half. Let's move on. Okay, egg shape. Crosses, half and half, move on. I'm going to do a little bit. I'm going to pretend that there's an egg shape around here and I'm just going to do a close up. Okay, half and half right there. There's just going to be a nose right here, maybe a mouth, I don't know. We're going to do a smaller egg shape. Half, half, move on. So see how fast that was? You can't, like, this type of working fast is going to make you free up, because there's no time to think. You don't have time to think about it. You just have to make yourself do it. Okay, so this is that. Now we're going to take a chalkier piece of charcoal. If you don't have a charcoal, if you have a pastel, work with that. Work with what you have. Obviously, we know that all sorts of supplies can be used for different things as long as they kind of have the same technique. I'm going to use my chunky charcoal. So I'm just going to do a line and a line and a line, and I'm just going to move on. I'm going to do this. I'm going to use a different color here. Okay, I'm just doing a line, couple lines here. I'm going to do, actually, I'm even going to go here and use this one here. Let's see, I'll use this one right here. Okay, done. Okay, now I'm going to take my finger. Let me close in on here for y'all. I'm just going to smudge these little scribbles that I made. Okay. All right, all right. Like I didn't add this one. I'm going to go back to this one, add a little more. Move on, move on, move on. So just take your, whatever you have to kind of smudge and go back and forth and start feeling these little sketches. Don't think about any sort of details right now. Just like, it's almost like you're looking at someone through a mist. You can see kind of what their face is like, but you don't see any detail. Over the matte medium, it's just a little harder. Okay. Now I'm going to take something different. I forgot to mention this earlier. Two tools. One is the charcoal. It's the charcoal peel and sketch. Let me show that to you super quick on this paper. And also the sketch and wash from Generals. This one is also Generals, I believe. So you've seen me use the sketch and wash sometimes. So here's what that looks like. It's just a nice light line. The charcoal is much bolder. And then here's how they don't, this one kind of smudges pretty good. And this one doesn't really much, but this one really activates with water. And I believe this one does. Not as much, but that one really doesn't smear very good, but activates with water well. This one smears well, but doesn't activate with water as well. So these are two pencils that I use for a little bit more detail. I'm going to use this charcoal one and just start kind of making clearer this egg shape, really sloppy, not thinking much about it. Let me show you what I do for the eyes here. So we had our smudge. So all I do with this one is I come in and kind of make a little pupil, and that's it. I just kind of do this. I mean, that kind of looks like an eye, you know what I mean? And you can go in and add stuff later, but it's literally a line and a little dot. Boom. Done. I like keeping things simple. What is that? I don't know what that is. You can add an ear here if you want. Okay, move on, move on. Don't get too ingrained with it. This one's gonna have bangs. This is my close-up. Okay, so adding just a little more detail with this charcoal pencil. Getting like a bajillion notifications. What is happening? Let's see. Let's give her a side bun. Let's give her a side bum. So this is what I have so far. Just adding a little bit with this charcoal pencil. Yeah. Like that so far. And now what I want to do is, because I know that I like activating things at the end, and I know that this doesn't activate that great, I take my General sketch and wash and just kind of like add in places where I know I like to add shadows. So like right here, I like to activate it because I like to put a shadow on this side. Since the collage paper is on this side, I'm imagining that the light source is coming from here down. And then like, you know, here I want to add some more stuff. And so we'll have it here. Anything, you could even accent the eye area a little bit more if you wanted to. Hair, just this pencil wherever. I mean, if you don't hit it with water, that's fine. It's not going to be a big deal. But when you do hit it with water, it's going to really activate nicely. I really love how this one's turning out. Oh my goodness. I don't know why that's there. Now, what I'm going to do is take those crispy grapevines, the thin charcoal, add even more lines because this adds a different kind of a character line in there. I have a little piece that I like to play with. You may not have this and that's okay, but what if you do have something like this or even a pencil, what I want you to practice doing is these exercises I really want to expound on and spend a lot of time on in something like a class, and tell me if you think that'd be good. Taking your tool and practice moving it with twisting, moving it, playing with your non-dominant hand, different pressures with your non-dominant hand. A longer piece would give you even less control, and just try loosely doing some sort of line with it, because your lines are going to be what's, how do I say this? What I have noticed with Expressionism is that really a lot of emotion is captured in the lines and like how the lines are drawn. When you see a piece of hair coming down and it's just like that, oh my gosh, I just love that. I love that so much. And I think it does a lot to a picture. I mean, this one says it's hard, but it's making a totally different line than the charcoal pencil does, you know? I also forgot sometimes I like to add, you know, cheeks circles, and I was doing that a long time ago. I noticed Jean does it too, but that's something I love to do, and I like going outside of the face even. Okay, so I decided that I was going to do a neck this way, but I wasn't liking how that was looking, so I just made her a little bust this way, and that line can just be whatever it wants to be. So I love this style because you can change it up and all that. And be careful, like when you are working on multiple pieces, that, I mean, this stuff does move. So if you care about fingerprints being everywhere, you might not like this style. You might not like working with the charcoal. I don't care. I love seeing the history of an artist working, like a fingerprint or, you know, even a hair. Like I don't really care about that. I love it. Just something to notate. The last thing that I do for my portraits is I take a very, very, very fine, like mechanical pencil. This is like 0.3. I tend to go and make, like we were working on the eyes and we said we were making circles around the eyes. I kind of do that. Again, it doesn't have to be super real, just whatever you feel like. I mean, you could stop, you know, before this and be fine. But I kind of like to, oh, this is such soft lead. I should have used a harder one, but I like to go in and make even more lines. Okay, that's good, I think. You might love one more than the other, and that's okay. The cool thing about working on a bunch of different pieces is that very thing, is that you could love one more than the other. Now, if you want to add any color at this point to the cheeks, that would be a good thing to do. I enjoy, this is a pretty color. See here, if I added it right here. If you wanted to, that's that. And then this is the Derwent block. Or if you wanted to add just some pastel and just note, like especially this one for some reason, if I do the, you know, try to add water, it will kind of bead up off this. And that could be because of the matte medium also in the back. I'm not sure. But this is like a salmon color. Kind of matches in the back there. But just take some water and activate what you feel is good. And this is the fun part for me, is just kind of like plopping, just kind of like taking certain areas of your drawing and kind of getting it wet. This is where I will even take some of my watercolors and add some watercolors in the back too. Found them. Okay. So like this lavender. I added some indigo over here. And if your paintbrush is feeling like it needs to make a little adventure and do some marks, let it happen. And then if you like the way something is, try not to touch it, because it's like going to move and move and move. See these beautiful granulation of charcoal right here as it's been activated with water? I just love that, because that will dry that way. And then as soon as it dries, you need to be purchasing, if you want to do this and you want it to stay, some sort of fixative. A workable fixative is something that you can work on top of. So let's say I do this and I want to still work on it, but have this layer stay the way it is. I can spray the workable fixative on it and then come back and do more things to it later and smear more stuff. There's also fixatives that just, you know, seal it all up. I tend to use workable fixative just because I'm a cheapskate and I don't want to buy like a ton. The workable fixative is fine also as a sealant, I have found. Someone might correct me on that. That's fine. But this is what I use, workable fixative. And Protects pencil, pastel, and chalk drawings. Prevents smudging and wrinkling. Allows easy rework. Acid-free and archival safe. And when this is completely dry, I will go outside, because you do not want to spray this in your house, outside on a non-windy day and spray this down with a nice coat, not too much, of workable fixative, and then, you know, it'll be all set. I really like this one a lot. And so let's work on some of the other ones. Just adding some Aussie gold in there. I love doing that, adding a little bit of watercolor to my activated charcoal. Remember how I put the sketch and wash right here? So that's going to give me a really nice black to work with. I think I like that one. Notice how I'm kind of sticking with the same kind of colors. And if you find colors that make you happy, just use them over and over again. And then that'll be something that you're known for in your work. Like, I'm not in love with this one, but it was fun. I really like this one. think that's all I want to do to that one. But that's kind of it. I know this is super long video, but just kind of a very, very quick tutorial, lesson, whatever, on how I achieve these little expressionism portraits. And I would love to break this down and do like a class on these with exercises and me learning more about the tools so I have some better knowledge for everyone. I'm just discovering things. What I've noticed, one of my favorite artists is Wendy Brightbill. And what I love about her and what I've been encouraged is that she literally will buy something and not even know how it works. And she'll offer a class on it just because it's the way that she uses that, whatever it is. And so I was like, gosh, if Wendy could do that, I could do that, right? Like, this is how I use these things. How free is that to just go for it and just to share with people what you're doing because it's working for you. Oh no. That is what I wanted to show y'all. I'm going to let these sit and dry, and then I'm going to spray them when they're completely dry. I sign them after everything's dry. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I would love, love, love to see if you try these out. If you're on the Facebook group, you can post them there, or on the community section of the Patreon. I don't know if it's the app that works better for pictures or if it's the computer. I can't remember, but one of them works well for putting pictures on, and I do try to check that every once in a while. And so it's a little bit hidden, that community section, but it's there. Or if you're on Instagram, then that would be a great place. I am a scribe, hashtag all that. And so, yeah, I really, really, really love how that one and that one turned out. I like this one too. That one I'm not super in love with, and that's okay, but I'm not going to beat myself up about it. Just another thing too, I had someone write me and was just asking me, what do you do when you hate something? And I was like, I really don't know if I hate stuff. I think one of the things that I took away from Jane Davenport was to be kind to yourself, to be kind to your artist self, because if you aren't, then you're not going to want to do it anymore. So anything that you can find, like in this piece, I'm really not like super excited about this piece. But what I love about it is this little bit right here on the corner. I just love the way that's granulating. And with that blue next to that blue, find something that you love about that and then take it and then tuck it away for something else. There's never failure. There's always just opportunities to learn, right? So I love y'all so much. Thank you so, so much for sticking with me and watching and staying with me through all of my sickness and stuff. And my voice sounds a lot better, but I'm still feeling really crappy. So thank you so much for everybody who's been thinking about me and stuff. And I will talk to you later. Bye.